The next mayor of Louisville will take on a police department facing mandated reform from the federal government. Hundreds of officers short and gripped by record-setting homicide numbers in recent years. On the eve of the election, WDRB's Conroy Delouche explains the differences in the candidates' ideas for public safety.
For the third straight year, there are more than 100 homicides in Louisville.
Well, without a doubt, the biggest issue is public safety.
No matter if I'm in the West End or PRP or Prospect, everybody wants safety.
Both candidates believe group violence intervention can be an effective program if fully implemented, which Greenberg and Dieruf said has not happened since GVI was adopted by the city in 2020. The goal is to stop shootings by showing those vulnerable to a life in crime an alternate path. Greenberg says the community has to work together.
Members of the clergy, neighborhood leaders, small business owners, formerly incarcerated individuals, anyone who wants to be a part of the solution.
Dieruf supports intelligence-led policing, going after gang and cartel leaders. He says he's already working with state lawmakers on bringing a youth detention center back to Louisville. The problematic jail was closed for a number of reasons, including cost in 2019. An LMPD lieutenant said last year that this was one factor in a spike of juvenile shootings.
Kids have to have consequences of their actions, but also we have to take the kids that we have in the juvenile justice system to help them get out of it.
Greenberg is putting guns at the center of his public safety campaign. The issue personally affected him in February when a gunman opened fire in his campaign headquarters. No one was hurt, but Greenberg is now looking for a way around a Kentucky law that requires LMPD to turn over confiscated guns to the state, who then auctions them off.
On the first day of my administration, we will continue to comply with Kentucky law, but only after rendering the guns inoperable, so that once a gun is confiscated or used to commit a crime in Louisville, it will never be used to commit a crime again.
There's also the matter of trust between LMPD and the community, hurt by incidents such as when officers threw drinks out of cars at people in the West End, and of course, the botched raid of Breonna Taylor's home. Both candidates want to add more police officers to the force, but Dieruf is the one endorsed by the police union. Dieruf says he will hold officers accountable if they run afoul of the law or abuse power.
The ones that shouldn't be there, we should ask them to go someplace else and take away their certification so they can't go to another department and do the same thing.
As for the night that Breonna Taylor was killed,
do you think that LMPD did anything wrong in the course of that incident?
When the search warrant is the place that where a lot of things went south, and I think that's going to come out in the courts and already has come out to some. And when the search warrant is circumvented, that's what caused a lot of the situation. So that part was, yes, wrong.
The U.S. Department of Justice charged 4 former LMPD officers with federal crimes. Kelly Goodlett has already pleaded guilty to conspiracy for knowingly including false information in the search warrant affidavit. Greenberg says it is crucial to rebuild bridges between LMPD and the community, pledging to have the most trusted, trained, and transparent department. He envisions outside-the-box thinking when it comes to hiring.
As law enforcement is asked to do more and more, wouldn't it be great if we had social workers that learned how to become police officers? That would be great experience to have if some of our police also had a social work background.
Whoever wins office will oversee a police department still spending what's left of a record $220 million budget and ultimately make the decision on who leads LMPD moving forward. With photojournalist Tom Round, Conroy Delouche, WDRB News. Whether you're attending a concert, basketball game,
grapes on this side,
bourbon tour, or want to just visit the birthplace of the Hot Browns, all of that can be found in downtown Louisville.
It's the heart of our city.
For the district to grow, both Democrat Craig Greenberg and Republican Bill Dieruf say the area needs to feel safer. They each support hiring more LMPD officers to work toward that goal, but say it will take much more than that.
Downtown has 2 problems. You have the perception of safety and the reality of safety. So we have to make sure that changes.
We need to make sure that the streets are clean, graffiti is removed, abandoned cars are removed from the street in a matter of days, not months.
Events and conventions have made a post-pandemic comeback, but candidates say day to day, downtown still needs to work on bringing locals back. Greenberg wants to re-envision how to use some space.
We must work to take these extra surface parking lots that we have and turn them into mixed income, mixed use projects that have commercial activity.
Dieruf says he's talking to state lawmakers about potential office space incentives for local companies.
I'd rather help the people here grow first and then attract people to come here, because I can grow your business here because you're already here faster than I can anything else.
As for the office buildings, according to commercial real estate company JLL, the Central Business District has a vacancy rate of more than 18%.
If you take your offices and change them to where people are living in the tower, working in it, and it just so happens that on one of the floors that their business is there, so if they have to go to meetings, they're there, live, work, play.
We need to look at the vacant office space and see if we either recruit new tenants or if we have residential people that move in.
Both also express a concern for the city's most vulnerable. Despite initiatives and millions of dollars pushed by the Fisher administration, there are still many sleeping on city streets or in tents under overpasses that lead into downtown. Dieruf says programs in Jeffersontown, where he's currently mayor, have produced results, such as the Angel program that can help those struggling with drug addiction get placed into a treatment facility.
We have to help them get off the street, to get to a life to where they have a home, they have a job, and they understand how to deal with society.
Greenberg and Dieruf both say it's important to not just find those without homes somewhere to live.
More mental health services with addiction treatment service for those individuals in need. We need to help them get driver's licenses and ID cards, get signed up for Medicaid, so that they have accesses to the services that they need to have a new path on life.
And of course, there's still the need for more transitional and affordable housing. The city is thousands of units and billions of dollars short. With photojournalist Tom Round, Conroy Delouche, WDRB News.
The cost of renting or buying a home keeps going up, adding even more strain to the affordable housing problem in Louisville.
WDRB's Conroy Delouche talked with the leading Louisville mayoral candidates about their plans to help solve the issue.
It's great that we're at this phase now where we...
Outgoing Mayor Greg Fisher recently announced $40 million in American Rescue Plan funding that will bring 7 new affordable housing developments to the city.
We've got to continue to advocate, not just at the local level.
But this 300-home investment is just a drop in the bucket. The Metro Housing Coalition reports that the city of Louisville needs 31,000 affordable housing units. If elected, Democratic candidate Craig Greenberg pledges to build 15,000 in his first term.
Near improved public transportation routes, improved infrastructure, and good-paying career path jobs.
Greenberg says for years, developments have been forced into certain neighborhoods. He wants to see affordable housing in every Metro Council district.
Neighborhoods should be places where people of all income levels can live, where they can grow up, where they can raise their kid. As they earn more money, they have an opportunity maybe to move from a rental to home ownership.
Of course, not everyone wants to see affordable housing in their backyard. Residents in Prospect recently showed up to protest a proposal that would build more than 150 affordable housing units just off of US 42. Republican Bill Dieruf, the longtime mayor of Jeffersontown, says you cannot just stick affordable housing in any neighborhood.
If you put it in a subdivision out to where they have no access to anything, you haven't helped the people that need the help to get to the job, to get to the government services, to get to the medical facilities that they need. You've actually hindered them.
Both candidates hope to see more than rentals.
Apartments should be a step, not the final verdict of this is where you're going to be. We should look into home ownership across the county.
We should be doing everything we can to encourage home ownership as well, so that people have an opportunity to create generational wealth that makes neighborhoods safer, cleaner, greener.
Dieruf is looking beyond the dream of buying a home and to the responsibility of actually owning one.
So we have an insurance policy that we include with that house that is locally driven by possibly one of the nonprofits, so that the person's not looking at how they're going to make a profit, but looking how they can help the people. There's
a long way to go for the city to meet housing needs. The Housing Commission says the cost of housing families with the lowest incomes is projected to be more than $4 billion. The city's entire budget for 1 year is about 1/3 of that. With photojournalist Tom Round, Conroy Delouche, WDRB News.